The mop clattered to the floor as a professor's hand shoved her aside. "Stay in your lane, janitor," he barked, his voice booming across the lecture hall. Students howled with laughter. Phones raised, capturing the humiliation of a black woman treated like trash in a temple of knowledge. Another professor sneered, "Clean faster, your kind doesn't belong here." The jeers spread, the cameras rolled, and she stood alone in silence. But what they didn't know was that the woman they degraded wasn't just a janitor. She was the incoming chancellor about to end their careers in front of the world. The ivy-covered towers of Harrington University stood as monuments to privilege. Its lecture halls were temples of intellect, or so they claimed. But on this day, those halls revealed something far uglier than ignorance. They revealed arrogance, they revealed cruelty, and they revealed how quickly laughter could turn to silence. Dr. Maya Jordan walked into lecture hall, addressed not as the scholar she was, but as a janitor. Her coveralls hung loose, a cap pulled low over her hair, and in her hands a mop and bucket. To the world she was invisible. And that was exactly how she wanted it. She wanted to see how the university treated those they deemed beneath them. What she found was worse than anything she imagined. The room was full. Hundreds of students buzzing, notebooks open, phones in hand. At the front, Professor Alan Price, a man as smug as the marble busts lining the hall, held court. His voice boomed, his gestures dramatic, as though every lecture were a performance staged for applause. But when he saw Maya in the aisle, pushing her mop, his tone shifted. Well, he said into the microphone, his voice echoing. "What do we have here? Did someone confuse this for a janitor's closet?" The hall erupted with laughter. Students craned their necks, phones lifted high. Maya kept moving, mop sliding across the floor. Silence was her weapon. But Price wasn't finished. "This is a university for scholars," he sneered. "Not cleaners." Laughter rippled again, sharper this time. Another professor, Dr. Linda Walsh, called from the stage, "Don't be too harsh, Alan. She's only here to polish the floors, just not the brain cells." The cruelty landed like blows. Students hooted, some banging desks, others chanting, "Mop! Mop! Mop!" Maya paused, her hands tightening around the handle. She looked up at Price, her eyes steady. "I was told to clean here." Her calm only made him angrier. He stormed down the steps, robe flaring, and yanked the mop from her hands. It clattered against the tiles. "Not anymore," he barked. "Clean elsewhere, or better yet, leave. People like you don't belong where knowledge is cultivated." Gasps mixed with laughter. Some students exchanged uneasy looks. A line had been crossed, but no one dared intervene. A boy shouted from the back, "Hey janitor, want a quiz?" "What's 2 + 2? The hall roared. Phones zoomed closer. Humiliation became a spectacle. Price leaned down, his voice dripping venom. "Don't think your silence hides you. We can smell people like you a mile away." "Is that what you teach?" Maya asked quietly. "That knowledge belongs to one kind of person?" His eyes narrowed. "Don't talk back. You're nothing here." The word nothing reverberated across the hall. Students picked it up, chanting, "Nothing! Nothing!" And then, as if to seal the humiliation, Price stomped on the mop handle, snapping it in two. The crack echoed like a gunshot. Phones shook. Gasps turned to shocked laughter. Some students lowered their cameras, realizing this was no longer funny. "Security!" Price roared. He pulled his phone, dialing quickly. "Yes, this is Professor Price. I have a trespasser in lecture hall A, black female, dressed as a janitor. Remove her immediately." The words cut like knives. Black female. Trespasser. Maya stood motionless, the storm whirling around her. Her stillness was unnerving, her silence louder than his shouting. Minutes later, the doors slammed open. 2 campus security officers entered, their presence heavy. Students cheered, expecting the climax, expecting to see a janitor dragged out. "There she is," Price crowed. "Arrest her. She's disrupting my class." One officer hesitated. "On what grounds, sir?" "On the ground she doesn't belong here," Price snapped. "This is a university, not a halfway house." The ugliness of the words rippled through the hall. Even some who had laughed earlier shifted uncomfortably. The officers stepped closer to Maya. One spoke softly. "Ma'am, we need you to step outside." The crowd leaned in. Phones tilted. The humiliation was about to peak, but Maya finally raised her voice. Calm, cutting, commanding. "Be careful," she said, "because what you think is victory is already your undoing." The hall froze. Even the officers hesitated. Price laughed harshly. "Undoing? You're a janitor about to be dragged out of a university you'll never afford to enter. That's your undoing." And then the room itself betrayed him. The overhead speakers crackled. A crisp voice boomed, "Attention! Faculty and students, please remain seated. A special announcement will begin shortly." Confusion spread like wildfire. Students glanced at each other. Walsh frowned. Price shouted, "Who authorized this?" "I didn't order any announcement." But the voice repeated, "Remain in place. Do not exit. A formal address is about to begin." The screens behind the podium flickered to life. The Harrington University crest appeared, followed by a line of text. "Board of Trustees, special broadcast." Gasps rippled. Professors looked rattled. This was unprecedented. And then the face of the university president appeared. "Good afternoon, students and staff. Today marks a new chapter for Harrington University. Please join me in welcoming our newly appointed Chancellor, who has been observing campus life firsthand before her introduction." Maya stepped forward. The mop lay shattered at her feet, but she no longer needed it. She reached up, pulling the cap from her head. Her hair tumbled free. Her eyes burned with fire. The hall erupted in gasps, some dropping their phones. Price's face drained of blood. No, this can't be." Maya's voice rose, stronger than it had all day. "You mocked me. You spat on me. You ordered me arrested for standing in the very institution I was chosen to lead. And now the world knows exactly who you are." Silence fell. The same students who had chanted nothing now stared, stricken. Professors who had laughed were pale, frozen. Maya mounted the steps to the stage, her presence towering. Knowledge without humility is ignorance. Wisdom wears no uniform, and dignity scrubs no flaws. From this day, respect is the curriculum. The crowd was spellbound. The words weren't just a speech, they were a verdict. The president's voice returned through the speakers. Effective immediately, Professor Alan Price and Dr. Linda Walsh are suspended pending investigation for misconduct. The hall gasped again. Price stammered, "Wait, this is a mistake." But his badge beeped red. Access revoked. His power dissolved in real time. Students erupted, not in laughter but in applause. Cheers shook the rafters. Some stood, chanting her name. "Maya! Maya! Maya!" Price tried to protest, but the sound drowned him out. Maya raised a hand and the applause softened. "Let this day remind you, arrogance builds the stage for its own downfall. You treated me as invisible. Today I made you visible to the world." Her eyes cut through every guilty face. "Respect is not optional. It is the foundation of this institution. Fail to uphold it, and you will not stand here tomorrow." Thunderous applause erupted, louder than before. Students stamped their feet, the sound rumbling like a quake. Maya stood in the center of the storm, not broken but blazing. The janitor they mocked was the chancellor they would never forget, and Harrington University would never be the same again. Knowledge without humility is ignorance. If this story shook you, hit like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more bold stories. Don't just watch the truth unfold, be the first to witness it. Turn on notifications now so you never miss the next reversal of power.